The Amazing Lucas is a PlayStation fanboy that used to make a lot of videos about how Xbox and PC were inferior to the PlayStation 5. But he then stopped making those videos because he bought Returnal. Now, the Amazing Lucas didn't like Returnal because one, the Amazing Lucas is a PlayStation fanboy and Returnal is a quite complex roguelike. You know, it's a game with a lot of depth and a lot of difficulty. And because the Amazing Lucas is used to games like Uncharted, where you basically just walk until a cutscene happens and then you walk again, you know, he didn't like that this game had depth and difficulty. And two, Returnal launched in such a broken fucking state that nobody could play the game. So then, the Amazing Lucas tried to refund Returnal, and he wasn't allowed to. Yeah, Sony wasn't allowing anybody to refund Returnal, which is very fucking funny because on the Xbox or PC, two platforms that the Amazing Lucas hates, he would have just simply gotten a refund. Anyway, after all that, he stopped making PlayStation Fanboys videos for a little bit, up until a couple of days ago when he uploaded a video about how bad of a game Halo Infinite is. So let's watch it. I'm sure he's going to make a lot of logically sound, very good, wise arguments.
So many of you guys may be well aware that I just happened to finish Halo Infinite a few days ago. And I figured, you know, I needed some time, okay? I needed some time for all the gameplay to really sit with this gameplay and understand my true feelings regarding Halo Infinite. Everyone who had the art team, the animation team, the character animation.
I get it, it's funny because he already knew he didn't like the game, so he didn't have to think about it. Yeah, I don't know, it's very funny when you're brain dead, probably.
Some time of pondering and pensive thought, I began to have an epiphany. That's what happened. I had an epiphany, okay? Kind of like, I would say, Mary, where an angel came down to me and was like,
Lucas, it's an Xbox game, Lucas.
Okay, so I quickly want to point out that the Amazing Lucas doesn't know how to put a fucking border around white letters when he's editing. Either that or he thought it was a very good idea to put white letters upon a white background. Very smart dude.
And at that second I realized, you're right. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Angel. Now, the Angel had a PS5 controller in their hand, so I knew it was an Angel, because demons have Xbox controllers when they visit you. Regardless, I began to realize, I've been looking at this game from a PS5 perspective, right? Quality, great story, great amazing gameplay, replayability, right? All this value that I've been looking from the lens at this PS5 game. Now, as an Xbox game, it's amazing. That's what I came to realize. As an Xbox game, this game, Halo Infinite, is amazing.
Name me one game on PlayStation 5 that is genuinely better than Halo Infinite. And then I'll tell you why you're wrong. And it isn't. Now,
As a PS5 game, this game is utter dog shit. I mean, let's take, for example, the gameplay. The gameplay? What gameplay? You know what? The best way to describe the gameplay in Halo Infinite is probably the average Xbox user's life, okay? Unimpressive and repetitive. That is how this gameplay is. I'm telling you, there is no sense of progress in this game whatsoever.
What do you mean there is no progression in this game? You progress by doing the main quest, mainly through the main quest. You can also do side quests, and then you get, you know, better weapons and shit, and you progress like you do in literally every other game, or every other open world game at least. You progress by doing the main, like, quest missions, and then you get better shit. And what the fuck do you mean there's no progression?
Right? Halo Chief, or Master Chief, whatever his name is, Master Chief in level 1, and Master Chief...
Okay, this guy sucks at the game. Like, literally, look at this fucking gameplay. Look at how choppy this dude fucking looks around. Like, either he is playing with a controller, he probably is, and he hasn't played a lot of first-person shooters, or he's playing with mouse and keyboard for the first time ever, which would actually explain why it looks so choppy. But this is insane. Like, that aim is so off. What the fuck?
What upgrades? You don't need any upgrades. You can beat this entire game just by upgrading your grapple hook. I want you to think about this, okay? I breezed through this game for the most part until we got to the final boss.
Yeah, and you wanna know why that is? Lucas, I know why that is. It is because you played through the entire game on normal mode. And then during the final boss, you decided that you were going to up the difficulty to heroic, and then you died a billion times. I know this because I read your comment section, which is full of your fans who watched your live stream calling you out on all the bullshit you're spewing in this video. Also, is this dude really complaining that you have choice in a video game about what you upgrade and if you even need to upgrade or if you want to upgrade? That's a problem now. That you have choices. Okay, cool.
So until we got to the final boss. Because the game, how it decides, you know what? It's a final boss. How do we make this, fun for the player? I know. Let's just throw waves at the player. Waves and waves and waves and waves of enemies. Instead of, actually, figuring out a creative process of how to make this boss feel compelling, integrated into the story, maybe have some cool mechanics that we've used or had the player develop over time.
Now, I haven't beaten Halo Infinite yet, because unlike the AmazingLucas, I actually have a job and I work 5 days a week. But I'm pretty sure that the boss is quite well integrated into the story. And I'm trying to think about this, but I don't really know of any... From what I've seen, from the footage I've seen of the final boss, I can't think of a lot of shooters that have different final bosses. Like, usually it's just like a final level, right? I don't know. Again, I haven't played through the final boss, so maybe he's correct, but I also know that Lucas got incredibly fucking frustrated during the final boss because he upped the difficulty to heroic during the final boss fight and then got his ass kicked constantly because he played through the rest of the game on normal difficulty and never upgraded anything besides the grapple hook.
No! They just throw waves of enemies at you. Now, even then, I know a lot of people are like,
Lucas, you're not playing it right. Lucas, you're supposed to grapple. Lucas, you can do.
Everybody wants to tell me how to play the game. Now, I'll admit, this is my first Halo game. I played it on heroic, okay? That's why I played it, and I beat it on heroic.
No, you didn't, okay? You played through the entire game on normal difficulty, and then at the end, during the final boss, you switched to heroic, and then got mad and frustrated that the game was too difficult and you were dying constantly. And that is because you, again, played through the game on normal mode, didn't decide to upgrade anything, and then for the final boss, which I'm guessing would probably be one of the most difficult fights in the game, you decide to switch it to heroic, and then get mad that it's too difficult. Are you fucking stupid? Yes, you are. We have already, and it's not even the question I need to ask.
Okay? And I beat it without upgrading my shield, without upgrading, I don't even know what the other upgrades are besides the grapple hook. You don't need any of those because they're redundant, they're pointless.
Yeah, when you're playing on normal mode and you're fairly competent at the game, you don't need most upgrades, I'd say. But then again, it depends on how you want to play the game. Like, for example, you really just focused on upgrading the grapple hook. That's what you've been telling me this whole video. But I'm sure there are people that played the game that didn't like the grapple hook or didn't use it as much and therefore didn't upgrade it. There are plenty of reasons as to why someone would upgrade certain things and wouldn't upgrade other things in this game. Freedom of choice, freedom of play style. I want to play the game this way, therefore I'm going to upgrade this and not that. But if you do play the game on a easier difficulty, like normal difficulty, and you're fairly good at first-person shooters, then yeah, you won't have to upgrade a lot of things.
Okay? Even in the time, once I discovered that there were other weapons on the bottom level, it wasn't that difficult. And I won't even go over the checkpoints. For some reason, you can't determine when you want to save the game. Okay? The game decides when you get to save. All right? So you could be in the middle of a boss fight. You're like, you got in the boss fight. His life is halfway down. You're like, okay, how about we save it here? Saving it right now would be a good time for me, the player.
Can we get a save here, bro? Can we get a save here?
Okay, so let me explain this to you, Lucas. Okay, so not being able to manually save the game kinda sucks, you know, not gonna lie. But name one video game where you can manually save the game in the middle of a fucking boss fight. Because I'm fairly fucking certain that you can't, in any game, do that.
Game is like, no, F you and F your playstyle.
I'm sorry, your playstyle, you know, your strategy when you're playing video games isn't to be really fucking good at them. No, it's to save during boss fights so that they're easier. What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
Okay? F everything about you, player. And I know, as an Xbox user, they're probably used to being F by Microsoft. I mean, what are they working with right now, okay? What, gunk? I mean, that's really what Halo Infinite is on par with. Gunk.
Okay, again, name me one PlayStation 5 game that's on par with Halo Infinite and that isn't a remake. Okay? Please do that, because I don't think you can. Also, you know, Forza Horizon, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Hellblade 2 is coming out this year, Starfield's coming out this year, Stalker 3... And how are Xbox users constantly fucked over by Microsoft? But you are the guy who literally made like, was it like 2 rant videos or was it 1? Where you complained about how unfair Sony was, that they wouldn't give you a refund for Returnal. And he literally said in that video, after all I did for them, like Sony gives a fuck that you make videos where you suck their dick on the internet. Nobody gives a fuck. Sony doesn't care about you. You're just a number to them. Not saying that Microsoft does care about its consumers though. Okay, Microsoft definitely also sees their consumers just as numbers and money, okay?
When it comes to the map, because you know they all want to jerk off about the map. Oh, the map size is so big. Oh, look how big the map size. There is nothing to do in the map size, okay? Nothing. It's a barren. They have little locations where you help out other soldiers. You get these fobs. What the fob? You have all these little side quests. And it's like, why? For what? So I can get another weapon? Why? What do I need this weapon for? I don't even understand.
Okay, but isn't that just literally all open world games? Where it's just like, you have this big open map with not a lot of shit in it. And you kinda have to, you can do main quest missions, or you can fuck around in the map and just do whatever you want, or do side quests. I mean, that's literally, you're just describing all open world games. It's not just Halo Infinite, it's also Breath of the Wild, it's also Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, like, what the fuck?
There's no reason for it. There is no reason for about 90% of the weapons. There's no reason to even upgrade besides your grappling hook. And speaking of grappling hook, hello, 2015 called, they want their gameplay mechanics back, all right? Think about being an Xbox user in 2022 now and jerking off about a grappling hook. What?
Yeah, so, grappling hooks haven't been a thing since 2015. I can recall grappling hooks being in The Legend of Zelda games like 30 years ago, at least. Also, didn't Doom Eternal like release 1 year before Halo Infinite? And that game, that game's big new selling feature was that it had a grappling hook. Or at least that's what it showed off a lot in the trailers and what everybody was very excited about because, you know, grappling hooks are just fucking cool. But when Halo has a grappling hook, it's a problem. Because Halo can't innovate at all, especially not when it's doing something other games have done before. Which is bad, I guess. I don't know. Doom Eternal is a very unoriginal game, you guys. It has a grappling hook, and Legend of Zelda has a grappling hook, and therefore is unoriginal. That's essentially what you're saying. Oh, it's bad that this game has a grappling hook because other games also have grappling hooks.
That's your new mechanic, is a grappling hook? Lord. And when it comes to the story, this is the only saving grace, is the story. Now, from a PS5 user, I have no idea what the hell is going on. They don't explain who Master Chief is. They don't explain as far as the blue girl. They don't explain the other blue girl. They don't explain the mofos who look like monsters or whatever. They don't explain none of that, okay? This game is created for Xbox users.
Okay, so this guy played the 6th mainline game in the Halo franchise and then complained that he doesn't understand the story. That's like if I were to play The Last of Us 2 without having played the first game and then be confused as to who the characters are and complain about that I don't understand the story because I don't know who the characters are and therefore it's a bad game. No, Last of 2 is a bad game because the story sucks, not because I didn't play the first game and I don't understand it. That's essentially what you're saying. Oh, I didn't play the earlier Halo games, therefore I don't understand the story and therefore it sucks. Right? How about, I don't know, you look up like a recap video, what you want the game to have like a recap of all the other games before the game starts?
Then this is what this game is created for. Apparently, Halo users have been, I guess, I don't know, conditioned to mediocrity. All the enemies look alike. So it's like, okay, this Banshee has red armor. Oh, but he's the leader of this Banshee with blue armor. Oh, and he's being controlled by this Banshee with purple armor. I'm like, what? This is the character design? They all look alike.
First of all, no one is in charge of a Banshee, or no one's being controlled by a Banshee. A Banshee is a vehicle that are flying things that the Covenant or the Banished use. And yes, all the designs look alike, all the brutes look like each other, all the jackals look like each other, all the grunts look like each other, of course. Like, what do you expect them to make, like 600 unique brute designs or some shit? No. They're not gonna do that. All the brutes have minor differences, like you already said, their armor, which usually indicates their strength. But there are almost no games where all the enemies look like unique individually. Even The Last of Us 2, which I hate, is a shitty game. But it's a very technically impressive game, right? Even that game reuses enemy designs constantly.
Listen, the reason why I think this story is so great, and it's great from an Xbox user's perspective, because what this story is, it's a gay love story. And I think that's great. It coincides with the release of nail polish for Xbox users. So I think that's great. I think that...
Haha, get it? It's a funny joke because Master Chief and the Hispanic dude hug after surviving a life-threatening attack, which obviously means they're homosexual. Yeah, he goes on about this hilarious joke that Xbox gamers are homosexual for some reason, because I don't fucking know. Yeah, he goes on about this for about fucking almost, like, I would say 3 to 4 minutes. I think it is. If it isn't, it at least feels like 3 to 4 minutes of this shitty fucking joke. This guy isn't funny. The only times he is funny is when he is talking, like genuinely trying to express his opinion, because he's so fucking retarded that everything he says just sounds like a joke. I mean, you can't take him seriously, because he's never said like anything even remotely correct. Like, his existence is the real joke, but the second he tries to be funny, he turns into the cringiest fucking shit YouTuber I've ever fucking watched. Like, honestly, it's just objectively not funny. Anyway, he ends his video with this fucking joke. Well, he doesn't. He makes some other extremely hilarious jokes after this. Unfortunately, I had to cut those out because I was afraid for your mental health and mine, but you know, I'm already fucked. Having to go through so much fucking PlayStation fanboy salt each fucking day. Anyway, boys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.